Welcome to this week's weekly technical analysis. My name is Joel Chandran here at Train to Invest. We'll be taking a look at the Toronto Stock Exchange, the Focus 5 stocks, gold, silver, oil, and several related ETFs for the week of September 23rd to 27th. Three-year weekly chart for the Toronto Stock Exchange. As you can see here on the far right-hand side of your screen, we did close higher than we opened, showing some growth for the entire index throughout the week, a great sign. We closed higher than last week, another good sign. And while we didn't quite hit 13,000, looks to be on that way. Now the MACD and the MACD histogram, both growing, and while the histogram bars are the same from last week in terms of height-wise, the MACD and the signal line are continuing to move higher. Great sign, showing strong growth in the index. Now the RSI is flat, not really telling us much. Stochastic, we are at an inflection point down here, and it looks to be heading higher. I would assume and expect for the stochastic to cross over Monday and Tuesday as the index grows for the week. Looking at the 6-month daily chart, a lot of intraday movement on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but again, Friday, we pretty much closed where we opened. Overall, some positive movement throughout the week, but not a lot. As you can see, both the MACD and the MACD histogram, stochastic and RSI are all flat. Sideways movements between this 12.8 and 13,000 mark. So difficult to say how much movement is going to occur next week. I would expect to see the same intraday movement as well as the market waits to see what happens in the U.S. government, what happens in Syria, and as we wait to see about the Fed's tapering. Here is the indices versus the index. The black line here is the index, and anything above is overperforming, anything below is underperforming. Over the last 6 months, the Toronto Stock Exchange has generated an enormous 1.14%. So really not much. However, over that same time period, the consumer discretionary index grown by 18%. Consumer staples has grown by almost 13%. Financials are at 8.5%. Energy is at 4.6%. So that's where your growth is occurring. Consumer discretionary, consumer staples, energy, and financials. Mining is down almost 8%. Materials are down just under 20%. And gold is headed well south below, and that's at 31% negative. So you can see if you're looking at areas of where the market's growing, money is moving into those top 4 indices. This is oil over the last 6 months. A steep decline over the last week, and that's definitely due to the situation in Syria coming to, I guess, a close, I would say. There has been some resolutions passed, but with the lack of supply disruptions, a threat of that at least, a lack of that threat, oil prices have come down a bit. Now we're still positive. The oil has grown almost $9 in that same time period, 9.45%. But again, not nearly as high as we had it above 110. We broke this $105 mark quite easily and have headed lower. Could we have based out here? Potentially, but again, tough to say unless we know what's going on the fundamental side of things. Enbridge 3-year weekly chart. We closed lower than we opened, so not a good sign on a week-to-week basis. However, the MACD and the MACD histogram, while negative, the bars continue to shrink. So we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks where the stock has based and now it's starting to turn up. So could be potentially a time to get into Enbridge, just due to the fact that it's starting to turn. But again, that's taking a bit of a risk before waiting until it actually turns. So MACD and the MACD histogram, while negative, is showing signs of turning. Definitely a good sign that we see the histogram bars shrinking week after week. RSI and Stochastic both quite flat. Stochastic is showing an inflection point, and it looks like it may cross down, and that's due to the close for the week being lower than the open. I wouldn't be too worried about that, especially as it's near the 20 mark. RSI is down close to the 40 mark, so we know that there's a lot of room for this stock to move. Looking at the 6-month daily chart, we see that we had a good day Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday we had a bit of a sell-off. Friday we did close higher than we opened marginally, so it's insignificant. MACD and the MACD histogram are both positive, while the histogram bars obviously shrank due to the daily decrease on Thursday and Friday. RSI and Stochastic both sideways again. We do see the Stochastic at an inflection point heading towards the negative side of things, but that's due to the decline from Wednesday to Friday. We did not breach 43. We closed above 43, so that's definitely a good sign. It looks like the range is between 42 and 44, and now we want to see that stabilize at 43 and head towards 45, 46, and 47. Could be a point where Enbridge has started to turn the corner and gain some momentum. Looking at Imperial Oil for the 3-year weekly chart, another great week for Imperial Oil, closed higher than it opened, significantly higher than it opened, above 45 for the first time since close to the beginning of 2013. So there's been a definite appreciation of the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, almost 2 months. IMO has been on a tear. Looking at the MACD and the MACD histogram, the convergence divergence is still fairly tight as the histogram bars are around the same level, but the MACD still has a lot of room to head higher, and that's a really positive sign. Both RSI and Stochastic showing momentum is with the stock itself, and obviously you can see that we did put in a new high compared to 3 weeks ago, so momentum is with the stock. Will it continue for the coming week? I would see IMO having a tough time breaking through and hitting 47.50, but again, we could see a week higher than last week. Looking at the 6-month daily chart, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of appreciation. We did break through 46, and we closed pretty much here. So we did break through 46, came back down, but that's okay. We did see some growth for the week. MACD and MACD histogram, both flat, and that's definitely due to the strong appreciation and the pullback sharply on Friday. RSI flat, Stochastic, again, the inflection point to the downside, but that's definitely reacting to the drop on Friday. So again, we did close higher than we opened for the week. We did see 5 straight days of significant gains. I would see tough time breaking through 46 over the last 6 months. This is the first time it's broken through 46. So again, a little bit of new territory in terms of recent memory. I would expect it to hover around there, maybe even go back down to 44 if oil continues to drop. Suncor, another strong week for Suncor. We closed around the 37.50 mark, and again, closed higher than we opened. You can see we're starting to, again, build some memories here from 3 years. You can see there is a definite association here at 37.50. 1, 2, 3 attempts to really crack through it. Wasn't able to do so. However, MACD and the MACD histogram are both positive. Room to grow on the MACD, and while the MACD histogram bar is slightly down, I'm not too concerned. Now, RSI and Stochastic are both flat, and that's due to this uptrend that Suncor has been on since before July, or the end of June. But again, with the inability to crack through 37.50, there may be some profit taking from those who have been in since 27.50. But again, with oil prices continuing to fall and the situation in Syria continuing to weaken in terms of public perception, we could see a bit of a pullback on Suncor over the coming weeks. 6-month daily chart, not a lot of movement in terms of intraday trading and Monday to Friday. Everything is between 36.50 and 37.50-ish, that dollar plus range. MACD and the MACD histogram, both negative, which is not good. We don't like to see that. We had a crossover, looks like beginning of last week, so not a good sign. RSI is flat, slightly higher, but I would consider it flat. And again, Stochastic showing the appreciation from Wednesday to Friday. But again, momentum I don't feel is too strong right now. We just cannot break through that 3750 mark and through to 38. If that does occur sometime over the next 2 weeks, you can expect Suncor to continue to grow, but I expect a pullback to 36 or potentially even 34 over the coming weeks. Bank of Canada, Royal Bank, we have higher than we opened for the week. Sorry, we closed higher than we opened for the week, and the close from this week is higher than last week's and the week before. So a bit of a mini uptrend. Again, 6750 is a very, very strong barrier for the stock. Can't quite break through. But the MACD and the MACD histogram, both growing. Histogram bars are fairly flat for the last, I don't know, 8 to 10 weeks. But the MACD is continuing to move higher. So eventually we're going to either see the stock break through 6750 or the price pressure will fall at the bottom and it will pull back down. We will have this sort of pennant-shaped charting system. Rsi, Stochastic, both flat. That's due to this mini uptrend. Nothing to really gain from that. 6-month daily chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of 67 to 66 range here. A lot of intraday movement, not a lot of week movement side to side. Stochastic is growing due to the movement from Thursday to Friday, where we did close higher than open on Friday. RSI is still flat, not a lot of movement. And again, MACD and the MACD histogram are flat as well. Royal Bank is trading sideways, so it's hard to, if you can pick it up closer to 66, great. Just know you won't have a ton of room to move from 66 to 67, or just under 67. PD, a new 52-week high, broke through the 92.50 mark, and again closed higher than it opened. And so again, a strong, strong run-up, as you can see from, we'll say, end of June. It's been on a tear. MACD, the MACD histogram, showing positive signs of growth. Again, quite steep ascension from 80 to 92.50 over probably 3 months-ish, 3 months-ish. Rsi and Stochastic are both positive, but they're hitting on the upper ranges of their measurements. So this is definitely due to the uptrend. And we just keep thinking it can't go higher, and it continues to grow week after week. I'm not exactly sure where this is going to go. Not a ton of great news from Canada in terms of economic data or the United States, but interest rates remain the same, and TD Bank continues to move higher. 6-month daily chart, as you can see, it broke through 92 and stayed above there. Friday, we closed higher than we opened. So good movement throughout the week, a bit of intraday volatility, which is fine. MACD is flat as we stay above the 92. RSI and Stochastic are both flat as we are kind of trading sideways between 90 and 92. I would expect it to pull back down a little bit, just under 92 for a while. But the other alternative is that it just pulls back down to 88. But I'm not exactly sure it's going to move that far so quickly. Gold. Pulled back earlier during the week, slight appreciation. Again, that's due to the situation in Syria and the lack of fear in the markets. So looking at the commodity itself, making its way back up to 1350. I liked it better at 1400 with some strong appreciation, but again, went from 1400 to almost 1300 over a 2-week period, jumped up and pulled back this week. So there is some volatility there, but the news perception really has pulled away. So we'll see a slow appreciation in the next couple of weeks is my assumption. CGL, iShares Gold Bullion Fund, not a lot of intraday movement or even week-to-week movement. It's been sideways just between $11.70 and $12. MACD is red, which means it's negative, so not good sign there. And that's just due to the drop from the previous week. Rsi and Stochastic are both flat as the ETF trades sideways. HGU, the Gold Bull Plus ETF from Horizons, again follows the index significantly with the pullback in prices over the early part of the week. Same thing applied with the index. Again, not a lot of movement, trading sideways, and the Rsi and Stochastic both confirm that. So even the intraday movement is very minimal. Global Bear Plus, HGD. We did see some appreciation early in the week as gold prices fell, but as they kind of stabilized, so too did the ETF. A lot of intraday movement on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. MACD and MACD histogram are both green, showing there is some strength there. Momentum is again sideways as gold prices are kind of fluctuating. It's difficult to make an entry point right now for this ETF because gold prices are starting to appreciate. I would expect this ETF to fall below 1750 as gold gets more expensive. Silver prices, again, same thing, declined early in the week and rebounded back up to close to $22. Steep appreciation over the last 2 weeks, but again, or depreciation the last couple of weeks from before September to the end of September. We might see a bit of rebound, especially with the commodities. You'll see October is a month of fear, so we could see gold and silver turning higher. SVR, iShares Silver Bullion Fund, just like the gold, MACD is red, Stochastic and RSI are both sideways. Not a lot of movement. As you can see, the bars are quite tiny. So intraday, not a lot. Over the week, same thing. Nothing to really move you. HZU, Silver Bull Plus ETF. Again, same story. Everything's moving sideways. MACD's red, RSI, and Stochastic show momentum is there, but not really moving anywhere. Tiny movement on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday when the commodities start to appreciate. Our last chart for the day, Silver Bear Plus, HZD. Again, sideways, we held the $7 mark, which is good, a good basing point. We didn't lose our gains from the previous weeks. But again, everything is sideways as the commodity itself is fluctuating in that rangeal period. So over the next couple of weeks, I would expect to see commodities appreciate if the October myth holds true. Things in October tend to go awry for whatever reason, and that's been the trend. But commodities may appreciate, and we may see some gold and silver ETFs benefit from that. That is it for us this week. If you want my email, questions, concerns, comments, I'd love to hear from you guys. And check us out at www.traintoinvest.com. We are in the early stages of our module lectures, so if you want to get in on that, please email me and get in contact with us, and we will get you set up for that. My name is Joel Chandran here at Train to Invest, and good luck with your trading for the rest of the week. Bye now.
The organizer